Welcome everyone to the fourth week of the Snowflake Smitty Snowy Sunday Spectacular Show. Today, we have on... I gotta redo it. Just don't say anything. Yeah, you don't even have to press it. Welcome everyone to the... Oh, jeez. Welcome everyone to the fourth week of the Snowflake Smitty Snowy Sunday Spectacular Show. And for everyone who watched on week 3, we spun the wheel. The people got Cal. Unfortunately, due to not paying back his debts from Miller's Ale House last Sunday, Cal has actually forfeited his spot on the podcast. He'll be re-entered into the wheel in case he ever does want to give me back my $30, which, knowing Cal, that's probably not going to happen. So I actually brought on an old favorite, somebody who doesn't really get too much screen time on the show. I got on Coach Christmas for today.
Nice to see you all. I know it's been a while. I don't get to talk to these people as much as I'd like to. But to be honest with you, Justin, I've been holding something back from you.
Yeah?
This podcast, it's not going to be about me today.
Okay.
It's going to be about a buddy of mine. You might have heard of him. He's been around the game a long time. Mistreated by a lot of people. Underrated. Good friend of mine. The one, the only, the Merry Mobster.
Oh, how we doing?
Oh, it's so
How are you? How are you? Hold on. Hold on. Come here. God, I haven't seen you so long. I love you. I was gonna tell you, get up out of the fucking seat, but you know, how can I do that? How can I do that?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How we doing?
I'm doing better than
how
I
we
should.
doing?
How are you? How are you?
Great
You got
team.
anything? You need wine? Anything? You good?
I'm doing all right.
All right.
Thank
You let me know.
Thank you.
You let me know. We're brothers.
Well, brother.
All right, so welcome on. We have an exciting week ahead of us today. We got a lot to talk about, to unpack. But first of all, the Merry Mobster. How did this idea come about? How did you really just enter the game, start defending Leif? How did this all take place?
Well, you know, back in the day, I lived a life.
Okay.
You know, this was me. This is what I did. I went into retirement for quite some time. I got a call from my buddy over there. You know, we go way back. We go way
My
back.
brother.
Come here.
We're brothers.
We're brothers.
We're brothers.
We're brothers.
We're brothers.
You know, I get the call. I think back, I go, oh, you know how much this guy did for me? You know how much I done for this guy? I owe him a good amount of favors. And, you know, I got to repay my debt one way or the other. And
Unlike Cal.
I don't know about this Cal guy, but, you know, I got to repay it. And I said, how can I help you? He said, come down to the Spectacular and help me out a little bit. And, you know, that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. For
That's
my
great.
friend and for the Spectacular itself.
So some people might call your appearance on my show as the real part 2. Whatever happened last year with part 2? Did that ever surface? Was it ever planned, scheduled?
You know, part two, like they like to say in the old country, is swimming with the fishes. You know, it's what it is.
Yeah, I don't even think it ever began swimming.
It was, you know, part 2.
I know that hurt your campaign a lot last year. A lot of people really wanted to see part 2, coming off such a hot part 1. A lot of people really took their campaigns to the next level last year, and that's why I believe we're seeing campaigns go on the way that we're seeing them this year.
Right.
So I'm glad to have you on the show. I'm glad that you're really
Thank you
getting
for
active
having
on
me.
Twitter.
Thank you
It's
for
great
having
to have
me.
another veteran in here.
Of course.
So we got a couple of things to unpack. Italian, right? That's where you are.
Of course.
Do you feel like there's enough Italian representation at the Spectacular? Enough ziti, enough
know-
stuff like that?
To be frank with you, I don't. You know,
Okay.
I look around the table. I see myself. I see a newcomer here. We got Mistletoe Matt. We got Matt Zavala. You know, I like that.
I thought he was black.
You know, contrary to popular belief, he may be. To tell you the truth, I don't know. But I heard.
I thought he was Sicilian, like the pizzas.
I think he is Sicilian.
Like the
he
pizzas.
told me that once back in the
Okay.
day. Yeah, no, I think he's Sicilian.
Yeah.
I see Matt. I see myself. I hear inklings about a Nick Vizza. You know, I don't think he's launched a campaign.
The panda handler?
Right. Yes, that's what he used to do back in the day. He used to handle.
He used to handle
He handled him good. He handled him.
Now I know he
degree
didn't have a
in
zoology
zoology?
degree.
Yeah.
He didn't have a
What the-
zoology
What
degree.
the fuck is a zoology?
I don't know, sir.
But you know, in terms of the candidates, that's how I feel. In terms of the food, you know, they do you a hell of a job. It's a nice spread. You get in there, you got some cheese, you got some pasta. You know, they do well. I don't expect them to do too much of that. That's not really what they do. Can I get a red wine?
I got you.
I don't know what the hell. I'm
Well,
drinking.
yeah. Hey, get my buddy some red wine.
You listen to that guy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a whole wait
Right.
staff here tonight for us, unfortunately.
Unbelievable.
So, I was going to save this question for a little bit further on, but since we're discussing the food that takes place at the Spectacular, I think what I and what a lot of people want to know is this the year that you finally eat the meat?
The meat.
The meat.
This one's near and dear to my heart. Back in the day, you never seen nobody put down brajol like me.
No?
I'd slaughter it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. For a long time, I stay off the meat. My cardiologist, he tells me, "Oh, you have one more brajol."
Oh! Take it easy.
You got one more brajol, that's it?
Take it easy.
He's gotta use his puff.
Just the word will get to you, huh, buddy? Can't even say the word right.
I'd like to announce right now that I am the Sean Evans, the Joe Rogan, the best podcast of all time. The Snowflake Smitty Snowy Sunday Spectacular Show, now on its 4th episode, has never missed a Sunday, every Sunday at 8 p.m. live premiere. Now that we're all recovered, let's get back into it.
I can't even think about the brajol.
No, and that's simply not even where I was going. A lot of people want to know is if this is the year that maybe you get into the bacon a little bit. I know, and I can speak on behalf of the committee, even though I have no ties to them. I know that the second that a piece of animal gets into your mouth, you're going 10. Like you're getting a 10 overall on that day. You're going probably first overall next year.
I will think about it. I will consider it, but at the end of the day, it's what it is.
I understand. All right. So, I heard that there's a lot of stuff that you wanted to say, at least to the 6S watchers, to the committee. You were telling me before you went on like a bit of a monologue yourself. If you want to just touch base on that, let the people know. Go ahead. I mean, anything you want to say to the committee regarding
Say whatever I want.
Yeah, how you feel about how you've been treated, how the veterans are being treated. You was talking about it before.
I gotta say, it's 2021. I'm gonna raise a glass. We're gonna toast.
Salud. Salud.
Salud.
Hey, brothers.
We're brothers.
Thank you.
It's 2021. The Italians have come a long way. I know from a historical professor at a prestigious university that the Italians, they started doing, I believe, the digging, and this is a long time ago, and we've worked our way up quite very far. I used to know a guy back in the neighborhood, hell of a stickball player. Oh, I think his name was John. I can't. These cigars.
Have a cigar.
These cigars.
Have a cigar. Have a cigar.
So you knew a stickball player named John.
Named John from the block.
I did.
What was so good about John?
We used to go to the market up the block, and we get the brajol. That's all I got.
Yeah? Well, thank you for that contribution. That did help a lot. I'm sure a lot of people back home wanted to hear that. So, if you don't mind, let's just get back to more spectacular related subjects. If you're going to fend off having a heart attack, you might be the only one to take my place.
Oh, what the hell's that?
Oh, is that really you? Hey, what's that wine no shade? I haven't seen you since 1947. What are you doing these days? What are you doing these days?
Only on
What
6X.
are you doing here?
It's the only place this would ever
This is
happen.
phenomenal. Get him a chair. Get him a chair. Get him a drink.
You know what I'm doing? You better give me a drink right now.
Here's a white. Have a white. Hey.
Sit right next to the friend of
Oh,
mine. Sit in my seat.
Hey, that's my guy. That's my guy. Don't worry
You
about it.
believe this?
Sit down. Sit down.
You might tie it. I don't play with that.
Give me this.
I don't play around with the knife.
Oh, this is something. Thank you for being here. Thank you
Whoa.
for being here.
Always a little family reunion on the show. Love to see your name get picked on the wheel for next week, and I'm sure it will actually happen because that would just give the people another reason to say that the show is rigged. So now that we have our first ever 4-person 6S podcast on the 4th week, anything anybody wants to touch on going off of what Rob was saying about the meat? Johnny?
Oh, don't say brajol in front of my brother.
No.
Can't be in the braciola.
Oh, gives him the chest pops.
He's having a hearty every time he hears about it.
No more braciola.
I substituted. Now I have a chicken
got
cutlet.
no-
There's, what are you doing? What are you touching?
Too much in braciola.
I'm off the brajol. That's the point. I missed the brajol.
Hey, speaking of Brazil, speaking of heart attacks, he gets a lot of grief for his heart attacks. You got a lot of grief for your performances. I don't fucking agree. How do you feel about your performances in the past?
Well, like I said, I used to live the life. This is a long time ago. Since then, I try to be a nice guy. I come to the spectacular. I dress up. I put on a red nose. I do what I got to do for the people. I do what I got to do for the specky, for the committee.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're showing a lack of appreciation for what I've done over the years. I agree. I could have had better performances across the board. But if you look at the slate, and that's what matters. That's what I've been told. I've been told that the slate is what matters.
But
Yeah.
Anyone tell you this in particular?
The committee. This is my show, unfortunately.
Hey, you hear the way he's talking to me?
Watch your mouth. And
Thank
you quiet about
Hey, you watch your
All
mouth.
right. All right.
This must be how Joe Rogan feels. Except
I
for-
did have
have hair.
a phone call with Franklin.
Yeah.
He did reach out.
How'd it go? He's British, huh?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody really does know that yet, but I've spoken to him and I know that the Mary Mobster has. He's British, folks. Worked at Jiffy Lube for 29 years. 3 lizards.
That's a hell of a fucking
And
career.
I've actually
29
heard
years.
this weekend.
You put in 29 years anywhere, should be a made man.
Well, that looks like what he's doing. He's now the mouthpiece of one of the greatest shows on earth.
That's right. That's right.
This weekend, he's a family man. This weekend he has a vet appointment on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, each for each individual lizard. I've heard. So that's big.
He's talking to lizards, this guy?
He's got 3 pets.
Is there
3
something
pet
wrong? Is
lizards.
he still not?
He could be, unfortunately. But I don't think we've ever had a spectacular mouthpiece that was fully there. I mean, Odie basically spoke like a Nigerian tongue. He's clicking around everywhere.
I gotta get one more red.
You gonna let him pour his own red?
Yeah.
Let me get that for you.
Thank you, my friend.
What is this guy?
Hey, I just host a podcast.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
There you go, brother.
Thank you. Continue.
All right, so let's get in here. So your spot versus the vets, you feel like compared to most vets like me, like Leif, like Cal, you feel like you're misrepresented? You feel like you're not treated properly?
I do. And it's no knock on the other vets. We're all brothers here at the spectacular, And I know all you guys going back a long time, and it's not an attack. It's not personal. I just think if you look at the slate, I got to be top of the class, and not in terms of the whole class, but I got to be up there. I'm in the mid tier.
Yeah, the upper echelon.
Mid upper tier. I think there's a little bit of there's some shit going on somewhere. They got to reevaluate the tape a little bit.
She said it's rigged, maybe.
We're gonna look into it very strongly. There's a lot of collusion going on.
I've heard a lot of people be calling this year as well as last year the year of collusion.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think, me personally, I shouldn't have gone before Zeke last year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think that it's kind of like a repeat of the same people every year.
Right.
And a lot of people are getting upset by that.
Right.
Do you believe that the people who are at the top right now have a well-deserved spot coming from somebody who's not regarded as a top pick right now? Do you believe that all the people who are up there, like a Leif or like a Lars, do you believe that they deserve that spot?
I do. I think these people made their bones at the spectacular. I like the rookies. I do. I think there's always a need for fresh blood. You want to bring in as many new people as you can. Restart the engine a little bit.
Yeah.
Get us going. But in the same breath, my buddy Leif, my brother, one of the best we've ever seen. Yourself, Cal. These are all timers.
Well, we don't say his name until he gives me $30.
Right, that cocksucker better pay the $30 or else I'll come see you.
And you don't want that.
The old timers. We've been here. We paid our dues. We did it the right way.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to the youngins. I love it. I love the passion. But I'm just saying, you got to pay respect to the old timers.
Now, my personal belief is that now that you're working with Leif, who's almost adopted in a way that he hasn't. Let me rephrase. I feel like Leif has kind of fallen into a battle of veteran versus rookie, not by his own choice. I believe he's been dragged into the battle by people like Zeke who want to see him kind of get into more confrontation, maybe give a little bit more chances to bring his spot down. Now that you're working with Leif, do you feel like you will kind of join in and become kind of a spokesman for the veterans? Or do you kind of want to treat everyone equally here? Do you have any...
You know, the Merry Mobster believes in equality.
Okay.
You know? But I get called in for a purpose. I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
I got to help out. I'm here to help my brother. That's my brother.
We're brothers. We're brothers.
You know. But I think everybody deserves their fair due.
Yeah.
Everybody should be looked at fairly. Everybody's running spectacular campaigns from what I've seen so far. I got no problem with anybody. I'm just here to make sure everything's running smoothly, you know?
Yeah. Like to see that. So I want to take a little bit of a break from talking about the spectacular so much because this is a podcast and a lot of people want to hear about, podcast related things. I don't know about if anybody's been into collecting like Ethereum, any kind of blockchain stuff. I actually just released my first NFT this weekend. It's the PSA 10 Amanda. I know that is going to get a lot of hits. A lot of people are going to want to get in on that. So just let me know. I'm going to link my OpenSea in the description for this video.
Looks like a cousin of mine from the old country.
Yeah, they all look like a cousin, unfortunately. All right, I guess we could go back to the spectacular now. For a lot of time on the podcast with Leif, we were talking about the current game versus the old game. And as somebody who's been in the old game just as much as the new game, do you feel like we've strayed away from old spectacular values and kind of got into more of a gamification of the spectacular rather than the old fun and relaxation that it used to be?
I gotta ask you, what do you think I think?
I think you're more of a proponent of the old spectacular, just given
That's right. I'll tell you what I think.
Okay.
I think we have strayed a little bit from the past. Everybody's a little, you don't want to see everybody get too much beef going on.
Yeah.
In the olden days, the way we did it in our life was, you don't want a war. You never want a war. You want to settle things between brothers. We're brothers.
We are brothers. We are brothers. Let me know if you need more.
Thank you, my brother.
My brother.
So what I'm saying is, I like the way we do the new things too. I'm not opposed to the new things. I like new things. You like new things?
I love new things.
You better like new things.
I do.
All I'm saying is,
A new thing that would be good is if you ate a piece of meat at the spec.
I told you about the brajol already. You're busting my balls about the brajol. This
Anyway.
guy's busting my chops about the brajol.
You got that fucking gun?
What is he doing?
Well,
How would I say my brother wants to be here for my birthday?
I do like
My
the
birthday's
guy. I like
next
the
week.
guy. I like the
I
guy.
want my
He's a
brother
nice
to
guy.
be here my whole life.
I'm the Sean Evans of the spectacular.
He don't mean no wrong. He don't mean no wrong. Sit down. It's all right.
You can't mention Brojol for my brother no more.
I'm sorry. I didn't even say the
Sit
word.
down,
I can't
sit
even
down.
pronounce it
This is
simply.
unbelievable.
Easy.
And he's over here busting your balls about
I
this.
might
I
be the
understand.
first podcast guy, host of a podcast with a full head of hair. Let that sink in. Think about all your favorite podcasts. Think about whether or not they have a full head of hair. I think it's just me.
Joey Diaz got hair.
Yeah, barely. He looks like he's 95 years old and he just had too much cocaine. That's how they get you, though.
That is
So-
get you.
We got on the Merry Mobster. Got a lot of wine, got a lot of guns, got a lot of henchmen, some brothers on here.
Brothers.
We're all brothers.
We all brothers.
I was expecting that. Do you believe that the brothership, such as the one that you and Leif share,
Right.
should be more...
Brothers.
I gotta get a counter at the bottom of this video. Should be more transparent throughout the spectacular? I feel like this is kind of pitting brother against brother, this spectacular. And especially the recent climate, we got a lot of attacks coming from Zeke to Leif. We got attacks from everywhere. Everybody's bouncing around with different attacks.
There's a lot
Do you
of
wish that we adopted a more brother-like mentality, like how we used to?
To tell you the truth, I do. What I like to hear about is unison. What's the word? Solidarity. I like solidarity.
Okay,
Togetherness. We had a year of togetherness. This is the year of recovery, correct?
I believe.
We want to recover. We want to come together strong.
I believe last year was the year of collusion.
Collusion.
Yeah.
Who's doing the collusion right here?
I don't know. Apparently the.
The
You know what?
committee?
I'm not even gonna get into that. Actually.
All right, let's let it be.
Yeah, let's let it be.
But what I'm saying is, I want to see solidarity. I want to see that. We don't do that shit here. All right? What I'm saying is, we got to come together. I want to see more brotherhood. I don't want to see these petty attacks on each other. We save, the necessary action that sometimes gets. Sometimes you talk to the higher ups, they tell you, it's what it is. But besides that, we want to see unison. We want to see solidarity. So,
A lot of times on this podcast for the past 3 weeks, I've talked about you in a great light through no collusion of my own. Because I feel like you're an explosive candidate who, once they really get started, they could really burst back onto the scene like the old number 2, number 3 they used to be.
Right.
Just a little bit of campaign is necessary, which is what you're doing right now, and I feel like you could be back on top.
Maro.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about how Johnny. I told you about Johnny?
The stickball player.
He used to burst through the ball. Unbelievable.
That's good. So I think you could probably go like 3 or 4 after that comment. Throwing me off here. I feel like I gotta eat another hot wing, like Sean Evans. How's that cigar? Nobody even said the word.
Don't you say the word.
All right. So
This guy.
So on 6S, we usually, go through the middle of our show just talking about power rankings, where we believe everyone is. On the show with Leif, one of the shows with Leif at this point. On the show with Leif, I kind of threw out a name. He gave me their potential ceiling and potential floor for their pick.
Okay.
Where they can go, their strengths and weaknesses, any words of advice for that said person.
Sure.
So I'm going to throw out a couple names.
Hit me.
You answer with the
Hit me.
first thing that comes to your mind.
Go ahead.
Matt Zavala.
My fellow Italian, Zavala, we talked about it. I think his ceiling is a lot higher than most people think.
I agree.
I talked to him actually last night at our softball game that we played together. And the guy's phenomenal. He's giving me tips on my campaign, what I can do. He's talking about other people in a good light. He's got the right spirit, the right mentality. He could be one of those rookies that really break through. I like Zavala.
Absolutely. I love his show, love his content. Everything he puts out is it's in good manner. There's no hits, very
That's
very
right.
personal to himself. He just puts out good spirit, and I really like that. I think he embodies a lot of what the Spectacular should be.
I'd agree.
Yeah. Love to hear that. I always start off with Matt Zavala because I feel like a lot of people have him a lot higher than people expect. And I'm expecting he's going to make a very solid run this year. I'm going to actually get into the man on your left. How do you feel about Joe Traverso?
Joey T, that's my brother. We're brothers. I think he's doing phenomenal behind the scenes. He hasn't launched yet, but when he does, I think a lot of people are going to be shocked.
Time's ticking.
People are going to be shocked. I understand. I agree. I think he's got to get in there.
He's doing like this school shit, I've heard.
He's doing a lot of school,
people
I went
still-
to school. Did you go to school?
What's a school?
I served in school.
You're one of the only
for
people here who asked.
15 years.
Hey. We're brothers.
We're brothers. But about my brother here. My brother and my brother.
Brothers. Hey, we're brothers.
I think he's got a great shot. If he would launch, he's going to do big things. Big things.
On my first show of 6S, me and King Kirsch went through our power rankings. I still get shit for it today. However, nobody really gave me shit for my power rankings where I put Joe in the top 3.
Right.
Do you believe that Joe has that kind of explosive potential where he can really get up there? Or am I alone in that?
No, I'm with you there. I'm with you there all the way. When you think about the top class, I don't want to jump the gun on you here because I know we're going to.
No, of course. Go ahead.
I think of my brother, Coach Christmas. I think of Polar Bear Larson. Phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And when I really think about it from there, it gets tough because you got guys like Candy Cane Costa, who's putting a lot of work. He has. The guy's putting a lot of work. And then from there, you think of a rookie like Joe. He's got to be in that conversation. And then from there, you got old vets that got to, get the life back into a little bit, like myself, like the Big Daddy C. So I think Joe's certainly in that conversation. We could have a sit down. We could talk about it another time.
Yeah. I'd love to sit down and maybe have some dinner with you. Some
You want
wine.
to have dinner?
We could.
I got a spot. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
All right, so we touched on Joe, touched on that. I'm gonna bring up one that isn't touched on enough. Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson. I love Mike Johnson. I do. I believe he's also Sicilian.
Yeah, that one's a little less known.
He's black.
That's what his parents tell him.
Right. I just wish Mike would do something.
He
Just
fell
do
out of a
something.
car in 2018.
He did, and I love that. I was in the car. Were you in the car?
I was in the car.
He fell right out of that car. I never seen a guy fall out of a car better.
Yeah, he really took a tumby.
He took a tumble.
Yeah, I think.
But I wish Mike would launch. Once he gets in there, not many people, he could certainly pull off something spectacular if he would get in there and do what we know he can do.
We're at a point in time where I probably speak on this show alone about Mike for probably 10 minutes a week, and we have no idea if he's even watching, if he even plans on campaigning, if he even plans on coming. Would you like to see him come back?
Would I like to see him come back? Of course I'd like to see him come back.
Yeah, I think
It's
he
Mike.
brought in a lot of fire.
He did. Just from the fall alone. That got me fired up, personally. They get you fired up?
Got me fired up. Got a lot of people fired up,
And
honestly.
he's great. Mike, he comes nicely dressed. He's a respectful kid. He does it the right way, you know? Nice guy. I think he gets back in. I hope he does. I hope to see you there, Mike.
Okay. Just pushing off of this topic a little bit, I'm going to touch on something that we haven't even touched on this show yet.
Go ahead.
We're going to talk about Leif.
It's my brother.
I heard it's your brother. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is saying Leif is pretty much a guaranteed number one. That is the most common talk around the whole field, and I'm sorry to everyone out here who doesn't like it. Just let the history speak for itself. But what do you believe the chances are that Leif doesn't go number one?
You asked me if Leif's going number one. Is Jimmy Hoffa buried in Giant Stadium? I mean, come on. What are you saying to me here? What are you saying to me?
Brothers.
My brother.
We're brothers.
So you believe 100% chance?
I think there's no shot that it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I do. And if it doesn't happen, I'm not here to make threats, but I'm here to protect his candidacy.
We're brothers. Ed.
We are brothers. We are.
I believe that's probably 20, 25 times. Probably
I-
1 a minute at this point.
I do think he's going number one. I think the committee owes it out of respect for the man and all he's done.
Absolutely. He has done a lot for the spectacular.
And
Great history.
We're going to see it happen. And if we don't, it's what it is.
Who do you see number two going to?
Number two, and this is tough. Number two. Can I say Johnny?
No. I know he played a mean game of stickball, but I don't believe he embodied Christmas too much. I think he killed 3 people.
I'm talking about when we were kids.
No, I believe he killed 3 people. Wasn't he that guy told him to set the car on fire?
Yeah, let's not talk
Children?
about Johnny. Let's not talk about Johnny.
Yeah, okay.
Number two, I gotta go. Just to keep it real here, based on the last, the 3-year slate, I might have to go with Polar Bear Lawsy, which I know people are gonna get upset about because he was number 2, I believe. Was that
Yeah, he
last
was
year?
number 2 last year.
But I haven't seen much out of the rest of the field where things are gonna be upended a lot.
Okay.
If somebody comes out, makes a great case, you shift them out of there. But I like Laws. I like what he's doing. I could see him getting in there number 2.
I'm personally putting myself at number 2. I feel like I've had a pretty good run so far. Respect to Polar Bear Lars. It's probably, in my opinion, it's probably like pretty neck to neck. Love the Mice Becky. Love everything he's doing over there. Oh, thank you.
I got you.
Who do you see at number 3?
Number 3, I'd probably go with yourself.
I like that.
I do like what you've been doing over the years. You, from what I hear, have been there for quite some time. Meaning you were there at the original Speckies. Times when we weren't even there.
Yeah.
So I got to give it to you. My hat's off to you.
Thank you.
So I out of what we've seen so far, the show is spectacular. That's why I'm here. I've been looking forward to getting my appearance.
Well, it is a spectacular show.
That's right. I'm gonna put you in number 3.
Would you put me at number 3 behind Sean Evans and Joe Rogan?
You're at the top of that list.
I like that.
You
A
will.
lot of people are saying I'm no Sean Evans, I'm no Joe Rogan. It hurts
Those
my feelings.
guys. I ain't got nothing on you.
I walk better than both of them.
You do. You might have to show the
I
people.
walk the walk, I talk the talk.
You do it all. You do. You do.
So number 3 goes to me. So we got 2 more spots left in the top 5.
That's right.
One of them has to be Zeke because of his guaranteed acceptance into the draft.
Is he guaranteed?
He's guaranteed from last year.
Mm.
So, after Zeke, do you see a rookie or do you see someone like yourself getting in? Because this is where it gets tough. There's a lot of people who deserve that spot, in my opinion. People like yourself, like Joe.
Right.
You know, like where do you see, like Matt, like Costa? How do you not have Costa? I believe there's probably not even enough spots to give these people what they need.
That's the thoughts that's running through my head right now as I'm sitting here. I might have to go back and do a revision
Yeah?
at a later date. You know, there's just so many good campaigns.
Well, you might be on later on in the show. For those who don't know, this show runs every Sunday, but I believe there's about 14 more Sundays until the Spectacular, depending on what date it is, 13 or 14.
Right.
So there's going to be a lot of repeats when we get towards the end. I'm thinking about doing something special for the 10th episode where I get multiple people on, kind of like as today, but more of a town hall kind of conference, similar to what we used to do in times past. More on that later, though. Yeah, so do you believe that that's tough, right? Like, because that 5th spot, you're cutting out somebody valuable and really important. It's going to be a heartbreak, even worse than last year in a certain way.
That's right. That's right. I don't even know if I can do it right now because I'm thinking if I put you in there 3, which I think you deserve. I do truly believe that.
Thank you.
And Lathan Laws, you know, brothers, themselves brothers, also my brother.
Hey, my brothers.
And then I got my brother Joe.
That's my brother.
There's a lot.
My brothers too, my brothers. Yeah.
That's right. There's a lot of people, and it's hard for me to make decisions. I might have to go back on that list, do some harder thinking about it, and get back to you.
As of right now, do you see yourself making that cut?
I do. I do see it happening, but I will be there one way or the other, whether or not I'm chosen. You know, I got to be there for.
And that's the kind of fire we want to see out of everyone. This is a tough race, folks. If you haven't got your campaign started, you're already considered like barely even coming at this point. And that's not supposed to knock those people. It's just going to show this game it's more than a game. Like, we start this in September. We campaign, we put hours of our lives into this. I put an hour of my life or more. I can't even use my phone some nights because I got to upload to my Google Drive just to get this shit on YouTube.
The hell's a Google Drive?
You wouldn't understand. But, you know, you really have to campaign to get a spot. It's almost becoming ridiculous in a way. And that's not a hit at the committee or anything. But we are out here campaigning our asses off.
That's right.
Just to even be considered. Like, you know, not that saying that I completely deserve it, but I'm like falling to like 4 or 5. I've been running an hour-long Spectacular podcast every week, interviewing everyone from around the league. And like, I'm still barely even being considered. And that's not saying I should. I'm just saying, where does the line get drawn? What do you need to do to make it into the Spectacular?
I think if you're not in there, it's a disgrace. Personally, I think you get in there.
Thank you. But like people such as like Joe last year, his campaign in my eyes was probably top 2, top 3.
I agree.
He let out like behind maybe like Lars and Leif. Joe probably had the best campaign. If not, he's in between the two of them. And to fall to number 6, how high is this bar that we're setting for ourselves? And what are we setting moving forward? You're gonna have to like bomb the entire city of Kabul just to be even considered 5 next year, Zeke.
We can't let bombs happen.
No? Not anymore?
It's not on the list, right?
He's shaking his head no. Yeah.
But no, I
Do you
agree.
feel like it's getting too outrageous?
I wouldn't say outrageous. I'd say it's getting, the talent level is through the roof.
It almost has to be.
You know what I mean? I think it's through the roof. So it's getting a little hard to distinguish yourself among the pack in a way. There's just so many guys, which is good. You want to have as big of a roster as you can. We've never seen so many people going this hard for the spectacle. And I mean, eventually, as the months go on, you're going to get more and more people into the ring.
Which is almost a scary thought.
I was ringside when Roberto Duran quit.
Yeah?
I was there. Were you there?
I wasn't.
Were you there?
Was it no mas?
He said no mas. He quit, this guy.
What's that even mean, no mas?
I think, Keep going?
Keep going.
And then they ended the fight.
And then he said he don't want to keep going.
I don't understand.
That made no sense.
Yeah, makes no sense, honestly. So you've been watching a lot of Rumbies, I've heard, Royal ones.
That's right.
So just going off of your experience watching Rumbies all these years, do you feel like the spectacular is itself turning into more of a Rumbie where, like that first pick is, or not the first pick, but the ones that follow are, for the most part, random. I mean, I feel like people are getting clicked around a lot. Not really at the top of the race, but towards the bottom. I feel like every day it's like, oh, we got Matt at 6, so we got Matt at 9. I feel like nobody really has a guaranteed spot down there, and it's just kind of a rumble of all these people trying to make it into the top 5.
I do see the comparison. Who's putting out these projections?
I've heard from a lot of people. I've spoken to a lot of people on the show alone. Everybody kind of has a different...
People's own power rankings, is what you're telling me.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, for the most part, everyone's had vaguely the same top 3, if not exchange me out for Costa.
Let's be frank here, you know? I already said how much I love Saval in the beginning, right? And I do.
Yeah.
But you gotta... He's new, and there's nothing wrong with that. We love having him here. He deserves to be here, and he's doing a hell of a job. But you gotta look at the top, at the guys that have been here, you know? At the tip of the iceberg, some would say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that would be the vets. That'd be my brother, Coach Christmas. Can I get a little more
Let
white?
me get you some more white. That's what I was doing.
Thank you.
No problem.
I get that, but the vets, such as he who shall not be named and owes me $30,
That guy still hasn't paid you,
he still hasn't paid me. We've been doing this for 36 minutes on this podcast. He still hasn't paid me.
Unbelievable.
We're seeing little to no effort out of him, and pretty much little to no, attempt to campaign.
That's right.
Just because he's a veteran. He's been here all these years, a great friend of the committee.
That's right.
Do you feel like he deserves a spot more than, say, Savallo, just because Savallo's a rookie and he's a veteran?
And this is a fair point you're making. It's a very fair point you're making. But if there's one thing about the life in the old country, you know, we respect tradition. We respect how the men in the past did it. And what I hear is that it's about this 3-year slate. I keep hearing it's about the 3-year slate. And unfortunately, the rookies, they got no slate. So, you know, the big guy that owes you the money, which we're going to take care of, he has been there for years. You know, and I like the guy. I do. He's not a bad guy, besides the money.
Yeah, besides the
You
money.
know, I know people got problems with
I
him.
just met him recently. He's been a pretty good guy until the money.
But, you know, he's gotta do something, I agree. But when you look at the slate, he's got a slate on par with, I would say, myself, if not arguably a little better. I'll give it to him. You know? So, like, you'd imagine that he gets a fair shake from the committee. You know?
Yeah.
And I would defend him, but first he's got to pay the money.
Unfortunately, I feel like his 3-year slate might be falling due to him dropping out last year.
That's correct, though.
So that's got to hurt him. I mean, my heart attack from 2 years ago still haunts me to this day. I mean, I had some pretty killer performances between the heart attack.
They take you off the project?
I don't want to speak on that word anymore.
Okay.
Just out of respect. You know, but my 2 pretty solid years are being plagued by that heart attack year.
Right.
So it's almost like the rookies without the 3-year slate seem to have an advantage in a way, because a 3-year slate, 3 years is a long time. You know, you go from being 19 to 22 in a 3-year slate. A lot can happen. A lot can affect your performance, and one bad performance and you're pretty much shot down to the bottom of the rankings, such as Cal dropping out, or, you know, me falling to 4th last year, the heart attack the year before.
That's right.
You know, that hurts my slate. I've been coming to the spectacular. This is going to be my 6th year, and, you know, I haven't missed the spectacular
You feel
yet.
like you're not getting a fair shake from the committee.
Not me personally.
Okay.
I'm just saying that I feel like in a lot of ways, some people's 3-year slates
Or a little
might
inflated.
actually be worse than not having a slate at
Like
all.
a balloon, a little inflated, or deflate is what you're saying to me.
Deflated,
Like-
yes.
like Brady.
Inflated people such as like Leif, who has had a near perfect 3-year slate.
That's right.
Well deserved, 100%.
Thank you.
I don't think that that's inflated. But people such as myself, I believe like after last year, I should have had more representation in my 3-year slate, although I you know,
right.
tragically performed the years before.
I gotta agree with you. I talk good about the Big Daddy C, and we have our problems with the Big Daddy C as we've said.
That was my money. He'll never watch this anyway.
One of them having to be the dropout. I don't disagree with that at all. You know, there wasn't even an explanation. You owe an explanation.
Yeah.
You do. I had a dropout. I dropped out for my brother. It's my brother.
Hey.
You know, I felt my odds were not there.
It's his real brother that time.
Right. We're all brothers.
Yeah, we are.
That's my blood brother.
Yeah.
We're brothers.
Okay.
We unfortunately are close to being real brothers at this point.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna be brothers.
It's sad.
I'll kill myself. Might be the first ever Suey on live podcast coming up, folks.
There's gonna be a lot of suies by people if that does happen. But what I will say is, where were we?
Cal, explanation.
We're talking about the explanation for Cal's dropout.
And Kai's brother.
That's
Thanks,
right.
young Jamie.
Jamie, I don't see nothing. Jamie.
That's young Jamie.
That's young Jamie. It's my brother.
Yeah, he's never made an appearance on the show. He just talks from the background. That's young Jamie.
Back to the tall guy.
Probably gets paid over
The Big Daddy
600,000 a year. Hot take: he makes more than $1 million a year.
Problems
Just
with the
wanna throw it out
guy.
there.
One problem is no fuzzles. Another problem, if we want to talk about the spectacular, is the dropout. You owe an explanation. You do. So that might hurt him, just like your heart attack hurt you. That's gotta hurt you. You can't. I love you. I
That was
think
a
you're on a
health
great
concern.
campaign. I understand, but you can't leave the specky early.
I understand.
You know. So, I agree with you. I could see a rookie doing the sneak. I could do him the sneak in there, just
Yeah.
like Johnny back in the lot.
Yeah. For
For a guy like Cal, you know, I think he could get surpassed potentially if he doesn't come out of the woodworks and do something. He's got to do something.
I mean, it's almost the end of September. Crazy to think I started this show a month ago, I guess, technically, to the day. Announced it even before that. This whole time I've been saying, Cal, get your campaign out, get your campaign out, get your campaign out. On the day where he actually owes me money from, he actually told me he's never even watched an episode of this show. And, you know, I put this show out in case anybody wants to watch it, in case anybody wants to hear from these people. I want to give everyone a voice. But even the fact that he's not even participating in watching spectacular related content, let alone not putting out anything, is kind of a cause for concern. I believe somebody's about to get killed or something. Whenever you see him whisper, it's not a good idea. Not a good, I drank a whole bottle of wine 5 hours ago.
Continue.
I don't even know where I was going, to be quite frank.
We were talking about the.
Cal, lock your door tonight.
Excuse me 1 second. I gotta make a call. Could be dealt with that later time.
Anyway, yeah, 3-year slates, I feel like they're hurting a lot of people, myself included. Yeah, but even given that, even given the whole thing where like a rookie might surpass people like Cal, I don't even see where a rookie can fit in, and I want to see a rookie there, but I can't imagine the top 5 not including one of the people who's already projected to be in the top 5.
Let's
I
go.
can't see
Let's
like
go.
I can't see people like Costa not making it. I just really can't. In my eyes, like
Costa deserves to be there.
he does, but
I
I
agree.
he's generally considered to be a lower draft pick, still in the lottery, like a 4 or 5 or a 3.
Right.
But if
should
he
be
does,
higher.
if he doesn't, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it. I believe our top 2 are pretty solid.
Can I make a suggestion?
What?
The Mary Mobster's gonna make a hot take, you know, and I'm not saying this needs to happen.
Okay.
But a potential thing the committee might want to take up is taking a look at the roster and considering an expansion.
That's what I was saying last week.
You
I
know,
like that a lot.
Potentially like a 7 candidate slate.
Okay.
You know, something like that. Open up the books a little bit so we can all get in and be made and attend the spec. You know what I'm saying? As many people as possible that deserve it, because you might be screwing some people out of an attendance when in all actuality they're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah.
That's all. I'm just a recommendation.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's gotta happen.
Well, with that does come a bit of problems because, say you're a rookie, say you're Matt, you get drafted 7th.
Sure.
That hurts your 3-year slate more than a buy-in.
Because you come in at number 7.
say Matt puts on the show of a lifetime. He goes first next, like he sets up a first place for next year. The variation between first and seventh basically puts him at like an average at fourth place.
Right.
Which, in a way, might
I'm
even
not
hurt
that
him.
good with the numbers, but I see what you're saying.
I understand.
I do.
So you have to wonder if that would be a good thing or a bad thing. Me personally, I believe that we should do a full draft 1 through 10 and have us campaign that way.
I do like that.
I don't like to see anybody get cut. I know it's part of the game, but that's just not how we used to do it back in the day. The cuts only arose because there's only so many people you can take.
That's right. That's right. And let me tell you, I know the people of the spectacular. I do. Not the committee, the candidates. I think they'd pay their way. They'd put up the fuzzles.
Yeah, if you're after 5, you pay your way
You pay your way after
but
5.
you're still a draft pick. You're
I like
still
this.
invited.
I do like this. I'm
100%.
I'm a fan.
I mean, it really doesn't make any difference except you have committee representation.
Right. And
Which
then,
is-
you know, we know that the top 5 is the top 5.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it will show in their slate. It will show in, ADP. It's big. You want to get that high draft pick.
You gotta find a tree. You gotta eat a plate, you know? Just don't put Brajol on that plate.
Speaking of finding a tree and eating a plate, how do you feel about those stats? Do you think that they're, have you had a chance to look at the stats online on League Lineup?
I have. I enjoy the stats. I do. I think we might need a little room for nuance in terms of.
I believe we need revision.
Cheech might be calling us back. What I'm saying is, you turn off the ringer for me. Thank you, Cheech. What I'm saying is, I spoke to Loss, and he's telling me that I don't remember, but he's telling me that the bomb. I love the bomb. I've known him for a long time. Was eating yams.
I heard a lot about this yams controversy. A lot of people were saying, Lars, there is no yams. There's never been yams at the Spectacular. A lot of people have been getting on my case about that. Arguably
grapes.
more than when King Kurz put me first. I've heard almost more yams comments. How do you feel about Lars just not really having a general idea of what kind of food's at the Spectacular, and then
let me tell you,
denouncing it right after the next
I
sentence?
did consider that because, frankly, my eyes, they've been failing me, but I don't remember seeing yams.
I've never seen yams, unfortunately. I think maybe Lars listened to a little bit Kendrick, too much Kendrick that night. Kendrick loves talking about yams. If you ever heard King Kunta, I know Lars is a big fan. Maybe he got all discombobulated. But the comment that followed about how the food is, I believe it was.
He said it was ass.
Yeah, he said it was
you know.
terrible.
And I'm trying to talk about the guy good here because I do like Laws a lot. But what I'm saying is, maybe we look at it. We open the books and we look at the food, how we're ranking the food a little bit. You know, I'm not no.
Are you talking about plate count?
I'm talking about Laws is out here eating 3.8 meals.
Absolutely, he was robbed. Lars is a kid. I know when he eats, he can eat.
That's right.
And he had like the lowest plate count that year somehow.
There's nothing to take away from the bomb. The man was.
He was eating yams.
He's burping. He's out here burping. I mean, I've never seen quite a technique.
Yeah, I mean, there was a year where I ate so much I threw up in the bathroom. That's what caused the heart attack.
You can't be doing that.
And I don't even think I was like top 5.
You can't be doing that.
I understand. Yeah, I had a little bit of a bulimia phase, I believe.
Is that a country?
Yeah, I think your people bombed it. Anyway, yeah, Mussolini took it.
I don't like.
Do you believe that those plate numbers are inflated a little bit?
They might be inflated. You know.
Like a lot of people,
I look ar- I
they
look-
finish their food and they're like, "Hey, I got 7."
I look around the table. You know, while I'm there. Thank you. It's my brother.
That's my
My brother's trying to get me a little, stunad.
Yeah,
He loves doing that to me, my brother.
the committee loves alcohol.
What I gotta, this guy, what I gotta say is, I look around, I see people who can eat, including myself. I can put them down. As long as there's no brajol, no, carne in general, no meat.
But is this the year?
Putting them down.
Is this the year?
Never say never, but it's what it is. But I don't think people, I know the people at the Spectre pretty well. I don't think they're inflating their numbers. We taking off.
We're taking what?
An oath.
I was married to an Italian, but I simply don't understand the language. Something that's big that a lot of people haven't talked about is, will this be the year that we finally get to sit on Santa's lap again for real, not through glass? Is this the year where we'll be able to have I don't know what you're laughing about. Is this the year that we finally get to have the kiss on top of the waterfall again? Is this the year where something like that's finally going to be back in action?
I do think this is the year. Personally, I look at the numbers, and I don't do the numbers well.
I understand.
And when it was related to the virus, whatever it's called, this thing,
Yeah.
you know, which I don't know if it's really happening. To be frank, I got a guy on Facebook who he posts all the time. He shares my name. He's telling me I don't know about this thing.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine we're at a spot now where we could be sitting on the lap, where we could be,
Hooking up.
we could be doing the marriage pictures outside.
Yeah.
We could be going back to the roots, and I like the roots. I do. So I think we get there this year.
Another thing I feel like I haven't touched on the show is Joanna. Joanna has been a spectacular staple for as long as I can remember. And I believe last year and maybe the year before was the only years that she wasn't there. I remember back in the day when we used to lock ourselves outside to go do the wedding picture because going outside is prohibited during the spectacular. She would always, she'd be one of the ones to let us back in.
That's right.
She used to play a big role in the spectacular.
That's
And
right.
we're hearing around that maybe there's a chance that she's the Jill Vario invite for this year.
I don't know if he knows. Did you hear the breaking news?
That's it for
Keen's, Zesty Keen's gone.
he's gone.
They took
They
care
did
of him.
away with him.
He went away.
It was what it was.
It came
So-
from the higher ups.
They said that.
So without Mike or whatever his name is, he's not going to be there this year. What?
His name's Brian.
What happened to Mike?
Got his 3 boyfriends ago.
What's going on over here?
I'm hoping to see Joanna there. She always put on a good show. Anyway, before I went to the waterworks, we're coming in on like an hour here.
I
wanna
want to go until 2 a.m.
I heard so. Rumor on the grapevine. Unfortunately, my phone doesn't have that much rendering power. I want to get brief, real quick. Maybe add in a sentence if you want.
Sure.
Your 1 to 10. We're gonna start at 10. We're gonna work our way up to 1.
Sure.
Give us what we want to hear.
Number 10. Now, I'm going to ask for something here. Thank you, my brother. You are my brother. I got to ask. Thank you.
Who's serving who here?
Can I get-
How you take care of me?
Can I get like a little refresh? I've been out of the game for a little bit.
Yeah.
Throw out some names for me of, people that I might not know who are really in the running here.
We got Coach, we got Lars, we got Costa, we got me, we got Joe, we got you. We have Matt, we have Mike, we have Zeke.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
We got a lot of people this
At
year.
number 10, I got Mr. Fall Out of the Car himself, Mike Johnson.
I think that's 4 10s in a row for Mike.
I do love Mike. I do. And I hope he's doing all right since our softball game. But he's got to start in order for me to move him up the ladder. I think he'll know. He's a smart guy. He'll understand.
I'd really like to see the committee adopt Mike into like the veteran class, similar to how he was adopted by white parents.
That's right.
I feel like he's been around for a while, and I'd really like to see, like the whole adoption thing passed down, and seeing him get adopted by the white spectacular. Well, actually, I believe Franklin's black.
He got a
Anyway,
British accent.
yeah, but who works at Jiffy Lube for 29 years.
A career man.
Yeah, no, he's a hard-working fella. I love you, Franklin. Oh, I almost forgot to mention. I'm going to mention this towards the end of the show because this is a big announcement regarding Franklin. Number 9. Stop getting off topic here. We're already an hour in.
Number 9. I gotta go based on what we talked about before. About I pay dues to the old timers. I gotta go as much as I like the guy, Matt Zavala.
Really?
I do. Considering that the slate has a lot of weight. That's what my doctor tells me. He says you get on the scale, it's a lot of weight. You
Yeah.
gotta do something about this. Maybe the treadmill, maybe a little no brush roll.
Yeah.
Zavala's got to be there for me based off of the fact that there's no slate, and you got to pay respect to the old timers.
Yeah. Last year, I actually, 3 months before the spectacular, I started eating McChickens.
I remember.
I would eat one McChicken a day. No, 2 McChickens a day every day, and it was in attempt to gain 25 pounds before the spectacular, so I can outshow everyone with food. And I still went 4th. I'm giving him the list right now just so he can see.
I gotta think about this here. I don't want to disrespect anybody.
No, absolutely. We got Mike at 10. We got Matt at 9. Matt at being at 9 is a very hot take. Mike, general consensus, he is going 10. But at 8, this is where it starts getting dicey. Because I believe everyone in like the 8 to 5 range is almost interchangeable at this point.
Do I got everybody here?
Cussa, Zeke, Leif, Jay, Joe, me, Cal, Lars, and then these 2. Yes.
I got everybody here.
Yeah. See, it's tough.
Man, oh
Once
man.
you get into that 8 to 5 range, it is basically interchangeable. That's the rumble that we were talking about.
This is getting tough here. This is getting really tough. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do a couple things here that are gonna get a lot of clapback. But you know that's what I'm here for. I'm here to take care of business.
Yeah,
All right?
and that's what we want to see.
I look at this list. I look at Costa, Zeke, my brother, Coach Christmas.
Brothers.
The brothers.
I look at Joe Rogan here. I look
John
at my
Evans.
brother Joe.
Good brother. And remember, Zeke's a lot.
Zeke is a lock.
Zeke
That
has
is
to go
correct.
1 through 5.
I look at myself. I look at Cal. I look at Laws. And I think I might have to do something that many people wouldn't do.
Let's hear it.
I might have to drop the man who owes you a lot of fazuls significantly down the list.
And
It's-
you know, it's not too hot of a take. I wanted Cal to be in the top 5 before he owed me money. But he's not really showing that he wants to be in the
That's
top
right.
5. I believe that 8 spot is almost pretty much justified for Cal. It makes a lot of sense.
I don't want to do it to him. I want to say, again, all these
Considering
guys.
the class above him, it's almost absurd to put him any higher than that spot right
I
now.
want to see all these guys succeed.
Yeah.
Yourself included. You know, I want to see everybody, including Cal. But based on last year, what he's done so far, I got to move him down the list.
Yeah, I agree.
All right? Now,
Getting even tougher here.
I'm looking at the rest of the list here. Sitting here, I'm looking at this list. Now, is this for current?
Current as of right now, week 4.
Current as of right now, you know? The Merry Mobster, I come from a place where we show a lot of humility, you know?
Yeah.
I believe in my prospects, I do. But I think I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And I say that in a good way. I think I'm going to put in the work. I am.
I like that.
But I can't, in good faith, put myself in the top 5.
Okay.
Currently. After the show, you know, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, we'll move you up. We'll see
You know?
where you're going. I
Right
mean,
now, I'm going to go myself. And I know most people wouldn't do that. But,
Okay.
you know, I'm here for others.
I like the humility. That's
All right.
that's a very good take.
We're going to go with the Merry Mobster.
Okay.
Next.
So far we got Mike, Matt, Cal, then Mary Mobster in reverse order from 10 to 7. So now we're going to go on the 6th pick.
I'm going to jump to number 1, my brother, Coach Christmas.
Hey, we're brothers.
All right? Just so we know. All right?
Just
All
so
right.
there's
Just
nothing
so we
on
know
the
how
name.
it is.
He's
It's what it
even
is.
underlined too, which is fantastic.
Now, back to number 6.
Yes.
Back to number 6.
So this is either Costa, me, Joe, or Lars.
I'm going to go on a limb here. A lot of people aren't going to like this, and it pains me to do this.
Yeah.
It truly pains me to do this. The man showed up shirtless. Takes a lot of goyons
Yeah.
to show up shirtless.
He looked. God, I wish I was gay at that moment.
But, you know,
I
he
almost
does well.
became it.
He does well every year. He does. But I'm looking at the other names here, and as much as I don't like the the shenanigans that the bomb brings occasionally, you know, my brother Coach Christmas, I got to cross him off the list. I forgot about that. I look at yourself, the spectacular job you're doing here with the podcast.
Thank you.
I look at my brother, Joey T, and what he did last year and wasn't recognized. I understand the dynamics, but he did phenomenal. I can't, in good faith, I can't put him in front of my brother.
Yeah.
I gotta go with the candy cane. Number 6.
It's always tough in that spot. That's 6 is the heartbreak spot, and it has been for this year and last year. No matter who you put at 6, it's always upsetting because there's somebody who deserves to be in the top 5 and just doesn't make it out of sheer work out of the top 5. And Casa, I can totally see getting drafted this year, without a doubt. He's one of those kids, he just needs a couple more hits and he's in there. Love to see him there.
I don't disagree. I talk great.
It's just so hard.
This is impossible what you're asking me to do here on this show.
Yeah, I know. And I've asked everybody every week.
This is a little challenging.
I understand. I know. This is the most work you've done mentally in a while.
I don't do it,
I know. You don't
I do favors. I don't do work.
You don't do brain stuff. No. Now, we're in 2, 3, 4, 5 category now because you already put Leif and underlined him at number 1.
You're going to tell me he's not number 1?
No, I agree with you. He's number 1.
You're telling me.
You just did it in a weird fashion is what I'm saying.
You got to give the guy his due.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Sir. So now we got Zeke, me, Joe, and Lars in a 2 to 5 descending order. Who do you see going number 2?
Number 2. Number 2.
General consensus around the league right now is Lars.
I'm looking at, I got yourself left. I got my brother, Joey T. I got Loss. I got, there's 3
Zeke.
left. And Zeke. Number 2 to me has to be Mr. Joe Rogan himself.
That's big for me.
I really do think he's number 2.
I think I've got every spot in the top 5 at this point now.
You look at this man, the dedication to the spectacular. Every week, I got money on every week, by the way.
A lot of people do, and it's...
Place your
it's
bets
hard,
on my
man.
Specky.
I don't think he misses a week.
Speaking of my Specky, what a good take out of Lars. I mean, that is some behind the shadows. That's something that he regularly updates. He's posting that, and it does not get enough recognition because it's not directly tied to his campaign in a way that such as this podcast is to my own. That's where Lars is the most underrated. He's doing a lot of work in the shadows, and I want more people to kind of come to grasp with that and respect that. But you have Leif, then you have me at 2. I have to assume you're going to put Lars somewhere in the top 3, which would only leave him at 3rd. But again, it's your rankings. Where would you see Lars going?
I'm looking at this. How would you like me to do this? 3, 4, 5 now?
Yeah, you could go to 3. That's totally fine.
I'm looking at number 3. And when I look at it, I got to think back to past years.
Okay.
And he doesn't have a large slate. But he has reigned terror on this league. All right? And I talk great about Laws, and I think it's tight as tight as it gets.
Yeah.
And I'm here to protect the spectacular from this fella because he's got a rogue side to him.
Yeah.
Well, nuts, so not.
Yeah.
But you can't take it away from him. The dedication.
Absolutely.
The charisma.
He's really getting in there this year.
The passion, the costume.
Mm-hmm.
He does it. He does it well. I'm gonna go with the bomb number 3.
I like
just
that.
my objective rankings.
No, I really do like that.
This ain't about
I have to say this marks the first week where this is the highest Zeke's ever gone and the lowest that Lars has ever gone. So we're seeing a lot of things moving around in the spectacular, and I really like seeing that. I like seeing people rise. I like seeing people fall. I mean, things are really starting to fill out in the best way possible. Everything's more uncertain now than it was in the beginning, and I like to see things move around as the league goes. So congrats to Zeke. You're doing a great job. You're pissing a lot of people off, but in a way that's really showing your passion for the sport. I mean that in the best way. So,
all right, now
love to see more out of it.
This pains me to do.
4 and 5.
I said this is objective.
Yeah.
This is my brother here. It's my blood brother. He came here, he showed up, he's defended me here on this show. Make sure nobody out there is doing anything cuckoo.
Yeah.
All right? I do think he's in. Absolutely he's in. I gotta go with the polar bear and my brother rounding out the class. In that order. Only because of the MyBookie and what Lars has done in terms of rankings in the past.
Yeah.
But my brother's gotta get in there.
And Lars' slate is as close to perfect as you can get. Mind you, the kid came in undrafted the first year and then went second his first ever drafted year. So that's...
You gotta put a star next to Coach.
Yeah, you put a star next to Leif.
But that's my 5.
Leif is just a guy, the kid doesn't miss, and he's almost done nothing wrong spectacular-wise ever in his career. He's been the longest in the game. He's been the most talkative, most campaigning out of anyone that I've ever seen in my entire life. You almost want to check him into a mental hospital a lot of years. I mean, like the kid put out videos in October back when campaigning anytime before December was egregious.
Let me show you. That's right. That's the list. You can see that. That's what we're working with right there.
Yeah, but love to see myself moving up on, at least in your opinion. And I like to see the little bit of a change in scenery. I'm waiting for the day where somebody puts Leaf lower than 1 or 2, not because I want to see it, but I just want to see more opinions from around the league. I feel like a lot of people are just genuinely.
It's hard to do.
Yeah, Leaf at number 1 is probably the most surefire thing so far in this league, just based off of general consensus. But, we'll see where we go from there.
That's right.
So this actually has been the longest episode of the show so far, and it's been great having you on here. I really hope that second time around, once we get past everyone, that you're back on.
Of course.
For one more time, maybe when the draft orders.
You want me here, you know where to find me.
Yeah.
Give me a call. I'm here.
I like that. Well, thank you everyone for watching another week. We are actually going to move into the office in a couple of minutes, and Rob is going to give the wheel a spin, see who's on week 5.
I get to spin the wheel?
You get to spin the
You
wheel.
Pat Sajak now?
No, I prefer Vanna White.
You want to be Vanna White?
Yeah.
Stunato.